President Trump preparing to go back to the White House this evening after spending the weekend at Walter Reed Medical Center, about 9 miles away from the White House, for COVID-19. You're taking a live look right now as the crowd is gathering and security prepares for his departure. Doctors saying that he experienced ups and downs over the past few days as they revealed more about his condition a short time ago. Here is what we know. President Trump's physicians say it has been more than 72 hours since he last had a fever. They say his oxygen levels are normal, but also said the president was given supplemental oxygen twice, once on Friday and once on Saturday. The president is scheduled to take his 4th dose of remdesivir before leaving for the White House tonight at 6:30. Still, we have a lot of questions. Many people want to know exactly what has transpired over these last 72 hours.
The president's medical team will not say when he last tested negative. They also will not reveal if there is any damage or signs of pneumonia in his lungs.
So we've done routine standard imaging. I'm just not at liberty to discuss.
So you're actively not telling us what those lung scans showed, just to be clear.
So there are HIPAA rules and regulations that restrict me in sharing certain things for his safety and his own health and reasons.
So the doctor references HIPAA laws, but it means a patient did not authorize him to release that information. In this instance, about the lung scans and pneumonia, White House doctors did release other specific medical information. Historically speaking, presidents waive HIPAA, and that's why their medical reports are released to the American people. President Trump's physician also took no issue with him leaving Walter Reed yesterday to wave at people gathered outside, saying the president and Secret Service agents who were in close proximity to him in the car had appropriate protective equipment. The president's doctors say they are cautiously optimistic about his condition, but we are not known what the window of 7 to 10 days after diagnosis will look like and whether his illness could get worse.
We're in a bit of uncharted territory when it comes to a patient that received the therapies he has so early in the course.